Yes. My name is Sam Russo, and I currently work at GT Austin, Glad Tidings in Austin. I am officially the Outreach, Assimilation, and Young Adults Pastor.
Uh,
Currently, I oversee and lead all of our outreach at the church, community projects, evangelism, our public relations, our website, and assimilation, helping connect all of our people to one another, as well as now our young adults ministry.
okay, perfect. My first question for you, Sam, is who is the person that inspired you the most to become a leader, and how did they influence your life?
I guess there are multiple options for inspiration. One being my parents, the different levels of leadership they exemplified, brought inspiration to do, whether it was work ethic or home ethic, and then overflowing into all aspects of leadership. I'd have to say that different qualities from siblings were also absorbed to help be a catalyst for leadership. But the key influencer for my current role of ministry was my youth pastor, Jesse Martin, who is now a plant pastor and a coach, mentor. He is a connoisseur of all books, leadership, and lessons, and so forth. And so, as far as the way that I do ministry, much of it is influenced by his leadership.
Awesome. Okay. My next question for you is, how do you deal with conflict?
I deal with conflict in a variety of ways. I think that conflict all depends on what type of conflict, what level, with whom, how long it's been going on. So conflict requires a breath of air and a strategic evaluation when dealt with. But in general, I deal with conflict head on and hopefully immediately. Conflict resolution is something that I enjoyed learning and taking courses on in college, mainly to help people find ground that they can agree on and move forward on. But I'm not a flight type of guy, typically.
All right, thank you. Next question. What would you say are the most important What are the most important decisions you make as a leader?
Most important decisions you make as a leader are personal ones. Every decision you make influences your integrity, which influences your self-confidence, your connection with God, and ultimately your ability to lead others in the right direction. So I think personal leadership is number one, the key. Do you want more of an answer on that? I'm not sure.
That's pretty good. This doesn't have to be a very long interview, luckily. Okay. Kind of piggybacking on that a little bit, what is the biggest challenge you would say facing leaders today?
Church leaders or secular?
Just leaders in general.
The biggest challenge facing leaders. I would say that well, let's just say leadership where I am involved, which happens to be in the church, in the Christian community. A lot of it, there is a struggle with a lack of emotional health, and having to learn how to navigate through leadership in an area where we draw in needy people with hurts, problems, hang-ups, and having to figure out when to tell them enough's enough and how to stay in their life and give them all you got, but then also to know when, hey, you got to be able to move forward. I think that if I were leading in the business world right now, there's a little bit more cutthroat and the ability to just move on, move forward. So I don't know. It's kind of an abstract answer. It's a little bit of a difficult question, but I think all leaders, if they learn to overcome their emotions and have stability in the midst of adversity, then they will become the top leaders in whatever organization they're in. I think to answer your question, the biggest challenge is for leaders to be able to successfully overcome adversity and be aware of their emotions and be healthy with them.
Awesome. And my final question for you, Sam, would be, what advice would you give for someone going into leadership for the first time?
Leadership is not about title or authority. And if you're being catapulted into it too quickly, be careful, because it's a dangerous place. The greater the position, the greater the responsibility, the greater the attacks, the greater the difficulties in many areas. And that's not me, that's scripture. It says the more you're teaching, the more you're accountable for. I think that a caution would be to go slow, absorb a lot, read a lot, listen a lot, and I'm speaking to myself on these, making sure that when it comes to where you're moving in leadership, that it's more about eternity and an eternal perspective and not about power or possessions or popularity. Look at that. Pastor here with the 3P alliteration. It just had to come out. So.
That's awesome. Okay, well, Sam, again, thank you so much for being able to spend a little bit of time answering those questions for me. I really, really appreciate it.